Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for taking time out of your morning to join us for our Final Expense Monthly Monday. My name is Matt Alina, and I'm the Final Expense Manager here at URL. And for those of you who are new to our webinars, our monthly webinars here regarding Final Expense, what we basically do is once a month, we try to get together, share some information of things that are going on in the Final Expense marketplace, and give some different sales tips and things like that. We also like to share our successes as well as our horror stories of things that have happened throughout the month, and learn different ways to overcome certain challenges. So we try to do that all within about 30 minutes or so, because we know when you're on these different webinars and different sales calls, you're really not going out there and making a whole ton of money. And the whole idea here is to go out there and make some money and go out there and see clients and do the best that you can. So I wanted to just kind of welcome everybody. If you're new to URL Insurance Group or new to the Final Expense Marketplace, welcome aboard. And here's what we're going to be covering today. We're going to give a brief introduction to Final Expense sales here at URL Insurance Group. We'll also be discussing the URL lead program as well as our lead subsidy. We'll be providing different sales tips. Sometimes in certain months, we may discuss certain carriers and certain product niches that are out there. So we'll be going into different sales tips this month. We'll also have a couple of poll questions. This is for us to be able to help serve you better, to see what you're up to, see what we can do to help you grow. And then, of course, if you have any questions whatsoever, we'll open we can open up phone lines, we can read questions aloud, whatever it is, we have an open forum. You can share your successes, your challenges, ask questions, and we'll get those questions answered for you. So to give you a brief introduction into the Final Expense Marketplace here at URL Insurance Group, we say we have the playbook for success. Basically, we can be your final expense coaches. So when you partner with URL Insurance Group, we can provide you with the sales materials, if it includes sales scripts on what to say over the phone, or if you're doing door-to-door sales, or what you say when you're at the client's kitchen table or they're in your office. We also have different sales guides, as well as online quoting. We have a proven turnkey marketing program, especially designed for Medicare producers. But you can also, if you're in P&C or some other areas or financial planning, you can find a way to use the turnkey marketing programs for Medicare to fit into your business. When you partner with URL, you have access to all these various webinars that we have, as well as live seminars and one-on-one training. We have consumer materials, which include memorial booklets. We have letters, brochures, and a whole lot more. We also have numerous lead sources, whether it's telemarketed leads or lead mailers or social media leads or Google search ads. We have access to all those different lead sources, and we also subsidize your lead costs based on your final expense production. URL Insurance Group has approximately 18 different final expense carriers, from guaranteed issue companies all the way to companies that offer day one death benefits or day one benefits, level benefits. So we have a whole host of carriers that you can choose from. We don't recommend that you get contracted with all of those carriers, and we can help you select the most competitive carriers in your area and to help you stay ahead of your competition. So feel free to contact me at your leisure, at your convenience, and we can go over the carriers that I think, or that we can kind of mutually agree that would be good for your business. If you're curious to see who's going to be the best companies for final expense, we do have a final expense quote engine on our website. That's at urlinsgroup.com. If you go to Aries and you log in, you can go to the Life Markets quoting tools and click on final expense. That's going to take you to this page. On the left-hand side is where you're going to put in your client's information, the state of the sale, their date of birth, male or female, tobacco or non-tobacco, and the amount of coverage, and whether it's going to be a level, graded, modified, or guaranteed issue. Click on Get Quotes Now. Our website's going to do the shopping for you. And you will find that there isn't a huge price difference between a lot of these carriers. The big difference will sometimes be in the underwriting and what one company accepts versus another, and we can help you with that. Eventually, you'll get to kind of know how these carriers work and what are the triggers to declines versus what's acceptable to a carrier. So we can help you with that. Many times agents are in the field and they have questions. They can call me and I'll be happy to help them work it out in front of the clients. No big, it's not a trouble, and in just a couple of minutes I can help you select a carrier for your client and find the best option for your client. I do want to go into our lead program details today. You have different lead choices when you work with URL. You have lead mailers, where this is basically a fixed cost. You have a defined sales territory, and these are exclusive leads, meaning that these leads are specifically for you. They're not going to you and a bunch of other agents in your area. These leads are never resold. So the leads go from the lead vendor to you. The cost, depending on the area, is between $32 and $35 a piece. There is a 20 lead minimum order. We also have verified teleleads. Those are $25 a piece with a defined sales territory. They are also exclusive, and these leads are never resold. There is a 10 lead minimum order. These leads have been working very well in urban areas. They're not working well in a lot of the rural areas because there's just not enough people to call to convert into a lead and then into a sale. But the people that are doing the verified teleleads and you're in a more urban area, we are seeing sales ratios of anywhere between 30 to 50%. It is outstanding. It's been working very, very well. We also have access to Facebook leads. Facebook leads are $30 per lead with a 20 lead minimum order, and you are notified in real time, and these leads are also exclusive to you. Working Facebook leads, it takes a little bit of finesse, and it's a little bit different than working your traditional leads like your telemarketer leads or your lead mailers. There's a different way to contact clients. There's a different way to actually try to convert that lead into a sale. Some seasoned final expense producers that have been using, that have tried Facebook leads have not really had a lot of success. The client is spending more money for a policy with Facebook leads, but they're not getting the volume. There's not a lot of traction. But when somebody does buy, they are spending more money than if they were if it was a lead coming from a lead mailer or a verified telelead. We also have internet leads. This is fairly new to us. If you do any Medicare sales with us, and you are using the internet leads, this is a very similar, it's the exact same company. So these leads are exclusive, and you're notified in real time as well, and you're notified either by email and also by text message. The entire state is your territory, and you are provided a lead management system. There's a landing page that they'll design for you that you can put either your picture, or you can put in a picture of or a logo, and it kind of gives a little bit of a bio, letting the client know who's going to be contacting them. And those are $34.95 per lead with a 30-day commitment. So that's just some of the different lead options that are out there, which then leads us to the next part of our presentation today, and that is the sales tips of the month. And this month, we're going to be focusing on leads. When it comes to final expense life sales, your lifeblood is your leads. Whether it's working your current book of business, if you're doing Medicare sales or PNC, you want to be able to, we have the materials that are available to try to harvest final expense business. But if you're trying to go into the final expense marketplace and you don't have a large book of business, you really have to consider spending money on leads. And there's so many different lead options out there. Leads equals success in this business, in this part of the business when it comes to final expense. And we've all heard the saying, you've got to spend money to make money. And this holds specifically true to final expense sales. Now, here are some ways to maximize your lead success? First and foremost, you need to budget, and you have to invest in yourself and have a set monthly budget determined for buying leads. And I'm going to say that if you're looking to have success in final expense, you're going to want to set a monthly budget anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 a month. And you can't expect that one lead order is going to be the end-all be-all of success for you. You need to have this money set aside or budgeted so that you have a constant flow of leads. So you want to set aside between $1,000 to $2,000 a month or more, depending on what your goals are. We'll get into how you can figure out the ratio between what you want to spend in terms of leads versus what you want to make in revenue. Be willing to travel to the business. So sometimes you may want to focus on one particular county or a couple of different counties, but you may want you may be in a rural area. You may want to travel to more urban areas so that you can maximize and get more leads and get more sales out of that. So be willing to travel to the business and be persistent in contacting the lead. If you're getting lead mailers and you get the lead card and you try to call the client or the lead to set up a time to come out there, to go out to their home or business to present final expense sales options, sometimes you're not going to get a hold of them. I know many people, some of you are on the call today, where if you can't get a hold of them, you'll hop in the car and you'll knock on the door with that lead card in your hand and introduce yourself and see if they'll let you in the door to talk more about final expense life insurance sales. So be persistent. And that goes to my next point. Door knocking may be required. So be persistent, be willing to travel to the business, and be willing to knock on the door, just introduce yourself. It increases and maximizes your lead success. Have a script and presentation memorized, whether you are contacting somebody from a lead card or through telemarketed leads. Have a script or presentation memorized. We have the scripts available to help you convert that lead into an appointment and from an appointment into a sale. You just need to ask, and I'll be happy to provide that for you. But you'll want to take a presentation. You'll want to have a script and a presentation memorized and be polished so that everything is kind of fluid when you meet with the client. And this is probably one of the most important tips or steps is to ask for referrals. Once you have somebody that is in agreement that they need a final expense life insurance policy or any product that you're selling, make sure you're asking for referrals. That's a free lead for you. So then it helps by word of mouth. If you leave a stack of business cards behind with the client, or if you have a referral form that the client can put names, addresses, and phone numbers of their family and friends, it's just another way to get more sales out of that particular lead. Now, leads, it's all about, it's a numbers game. The final expense life insurance sales is really, truly a numbers game. So if you have a particular goal in mind, a revenue goal in mind of what you want to do in final expense sales, you'll want to budget between 10 to 15% of your goal and invest that in leads. So if you have an annual goal of $150,000 a year in final expense sales, and yes, it can be done, by the way. We have producers that are doing that. Then you're going to want to set a lead budget of about $22,500. That's $1,875 per month, and you should come in close, if not exceed, the $150,000 annual goal in final expense sales. If your goal is to do $100,000, your lead budget should be around $15,000 a year or $1,250 per month. And then if you have just an annual goal, just to do $50,000 just to kind of get things started, then you want to set up a lead budget of $7,500 or $625 per month. Now, this is money that would be invested in leads, but this is not talking about the lead subsidies. So you see all of these dollar signs that are in front of you and see that it is truly an investment. You're investing in yourself. But when you partner with URL Insurance Group, we subsidize your lead costs. Now, if you're a Gemini producer, we give you $80 for every $1,000 of paid annualized premium, final expense paid annualized premium that you place each month. For our standard partners, you don't have to be a Gemini partner to participate and to receive our lead subsidies. For our standard partners, it's a $50 lead credit for every $1,000 of paid annualized premium and final expense. So let me put it to you like this. So let's say you place $5,000 in annualized premium in final expense business during the month of June. Gemini agents are going to get a $400 lead credit, and standard agents are going to receive a $250 lead credit. So you'll understand that when you go back to this previous slide and you see the amount of money that you can potentially be investing in yourself each month, that's not including the lead subsidy that we have for you. So this can be applied towards that. So it's actually going to put a little bit more money into your pocket. At minimum, that 15% is going to be reduced to 10% because we're basically giving you 5% of your sales goals back to you through our lead bonus or our lead subsidy. So it's certainly something to take advantage of when you partner with URL Insurance Group. So who is your final expense client? A couple of weeks ago, we did a presentation, a live seminar here at URL, and we discussed who a final expense client is. The final expense sweet spot is between the ages of 50 and 85. Now, for those of you who are in Medicare sales, you'll understand this link. It's basically your final expense client are going to be clients that are Medicare Advantage or dual eligible clients, which means they basically have some limited financial resources. But regardless of their financial resources or the limitations that are there, they still don't want to be a financial burden to their family, and they certainly don't want to rely on their family to take care of them for anything. But if they passed away today, their family is going to be struggling for paying those final expenses, those funeral expenses. A final expense client is typically a blue-collar person, somebody that works hard every day. They made money, but they didn't make the income that really drew the attention of financial planners or insurance agents. Some of these clients are still working menial jobs just to make ends meet, to put food on the table, keep the lights on, whatever it is. So some of them are still working those menial jobs. Some of them are straightforward, very cynical, kind of the salt of the earth type of people. And what I mean by that is that life has kind of dealt them, has really kind of been tough for them. They've made money, but they never got a lot of extras. So they're very cynical. They feel that life kind of dealt them a bad hand, and you have to be able to relate to that, which means you're not going to be showing up in a shirt and tie when you're on a final expense sales appointment. A polo shirt and some khaki pants is very good. You don't want to show up in a real fancy blinged out car either, because a lot of these folks are still living paycheck to paycheck. They're on a fixed income, and they really never had those financial blessings, if you put it that way. Now, a lot of them didn't plan on failing, but they failed to plan. It's not that they failed. They just didn't make a whole ton of money, and when they earned that money, they just never put that money aside and never looked into the future on what they should do with that money and make sure that their funeral expenses and retirement and everything else has been taken care of. So very salt of the earth people, and this is where you can kind of come in, relate with them, listen to them, and hear their stories and provide them with some solutions to their problems that will fit their budget. A final expense sale is a sale that is going to be geared towards a budget-driven sale versus a death benefit sale. So you're really going to be asking somebody, Can you afford at least $1 a day, which is $30 a month? Can you afford a little bit more? Is it $30 a month, $40 a month, 50, 60, 80, 100, whatever it is? That's who you want. That's your final expense client. So one of the things I do want to mention before we have our poll questions here is just an invitation to join us. Next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, July 10th at 10 o'clock Eastern, we will be doing a webinar on create extra revenue without extra effort. And it's a final expense sales guide for Medicare agents and different sales tips. You can, even if you're not in Medicare sales, you can still join us because you'll be able to see where you can insert final expense sales if you do P&C or you do financial planning or any other line of business. You can see where final expense sales can kind of fit in, and you'll see that the turnkey marketing information that we'll be presenting next Tuesday, July 10th, can really kind of be interchangeable there. So please consider joining us. If you haven't already registered, you can register through our website at url.insgroup.com/Aries. Now this takes us to the next part of our presentation today, which is poll questions. And today's poll questions are designed around leads. So the first question, how much revenue do you want to make selling final expense? Is it 25 to 50,000? Is it 50 to 75,000? Is it 75 to 100,000? Or is it 100,000 or more? Again, how much revenue do you want to make selling final expense? Is it 25 to 50,000? Is it 50 to 75, 75 to 100, or 100 and above? Okay, I'll give you a few more seconds. Here are the results for those of you who are on our call today. 17% of you said that you'd like to make between 25 and 50,000. 50% of you said 50,000 to 75,000. 17% of you said you'd like to make between 75 and 100,000. And also 17% of you said you'd like to make 100,000 or more. And understand that when you're setting the revenue goals, also set aside some money to get those leads ordered, because the leads, again, are the lifeblood to final expense sales. So you have your goal in mind. Are you willing to invest in your business by ordering leads? And while you're answering that poll question, understand that I'm using this data from these poll questions to help me serve you better, so that I can contact you at a later time, and we can set up a call to kind of come up with a game plan, so that we can kind of tailor our services to meet your needs and to help you grow your business and meet those goals. So for those of you that answered, thank you. 100% of you said yes, you're willing to invest in your business by ordering leads. So my last question is, what monthly lead budget do you have in mind? Is it $500 to $1,000 per month, which would get you some telemarketed leads? Is it $1,000 to $2,000 a month? Is it more than $2,000 a month? Or are you just not sure? What is your monthly lead budget, or what monthly lead budget do you have in mind for final expense leads? 500 to 1,000 a month? Is it 1,000 to 2,000 per month? Is it above 2,000 per month? Or are you undecided? I'll give you a few more seconds to answer that question. Okay, thank you. So 50% of you on the call today said that you have a monthly budget of $50 to $1,000 per month. Nobody answered 1,000 to 2,000. 10% of you on the call said that you have a budget of $2,000 per month, and 40% of you said you're undecided. So I appreciate you taking time to answer those poll questions, which then takes us to the next part of our presentation today, which is an open forum. Some of you are brand new to final expense sales, so if you have any questions, now's the time to ask them. We also, for those of you who have been in the final expense business for a while, we want to also hear from you. What are some of the challenges and successes that you're having out there in the field? If you're ordering leads, how are these leads working out for you? And if you're on the fence about final expense, what can we do here at URL to help you give it a try? So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to type those questions, or you can even raise your hand and I can unmute your microphone if you have a microphone connected to your computer, or if you're on through the phone lines. You can also access the, we can also unmute your phone line. So those are the questions that we'd like to hear from you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please go ahead and share those. And let me put my contact information on the screen here for you. Again, my name is Matt Alina. I'm the Final Expense Manager here at URL. And you can reach me toll-free at 800-926-8875, extension 141. Again, 800-926-8875, extension 141. One of the questions I had here from Charlene: do you have TV leads? Charlene, I appreciate that question. That's a question I get from time to time. I don't have TV leads at the moment. I am always looking into different lead sources for you. So you're not the first person to ask that question, and I am still vetting some of these companies to see who's going to give us the best price and give us the best results. So to answer your question, not at this time, but hopefully very soon. If there's any other questions, feel free to type those questions, or you can always call me or email me here at URL. Be happy to work with you and help you out with that. So as any other questions are coming in, for those of you that want to move on with your day, and I just want to thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule to join us for today's presentation, and look forward to working with you. Let's see. I got a call here, a question here from Charlene. What are your thoughts on telesales? That's another good question. So with telesales is difficult because in final expense life sales, more specifically, telesales are difficult because the retention is very low sometimes. Because you're dealing with lower income people, a person may buy a policy or purchase a policy through the phone with you, but sometimes that business doesn't stay on the books for more than a couple of months. So it's a good question, and just to kind of give you an answer there, you can do it. We do have carriers that offer telesales. Usually the final expense sales, the sales that you do face-to-face, you're going to get a better result, and that business is going to stay on the books. But hope that answers your question. And you know, if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. George asked, what 3 carriers would you start with? George, that's a great question. It really depends on the area that you're calling from or where you are. One of the carriers that I would recommend to be in every final expense sales portfolio is Mutual of Omaha. And the reason I say that is because our relationship with Mutual of Omaha has opened the door to different presentation materials. And it's also a very good common household name. Everybody knows, especially this generation of people that are purchasing Final Expense, they remember the TV show. I think it's Animal Kingdom. And then I would recommend getting a guaranteed issue company and maybe one other company, whether it's a Transamerica, Royal Neighbors, Oxford. Again, it really depends on the area that you're in as to what's available. But hope that kind of answers your question. I would definitely have Mutual of Omaha in my portfolio and a guaranteed issue company and maybe one other carrier to cover those that can't get coverage through Mutual of Omaha. So Tom also asked here about emailing marketing materials. Tom, I will be giving you a call or I'll be emailing you with some information here after the end of the presentation. So appreciate that. If there are any other questions, feel free to ask those questions. You can either continue to do it here through our presentation, or you can contact me at your convenience at the number on your screen. Charlene, I'll also send you an email. Thank you. All right. So again, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for our monthly Monday, the first Monday of August. I cannot believe we're already in July. Will be our next one. We'll have a different topic that we'll be discussing, but it will still relate to final expense life insurance sales and the different sales topics that are out there. And we look forward to working with you. We look forward to partnering with you and earning your business. So thank you very much again for joining us for today's presentation. And we look forward to working with you, and have a great day. Stay cool for those of you that are in the areas that are affected with the heat. I know there's another heat advisory here in Harrisburg. So stay cool and drink plenty of fluids, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.